Hi everybody. I wasn't expecting to be making a video quite so quickly after my last one, but what happened was that I said in that video that I had ordered a camera, an action camera from Amazon, and I was expecting it, and it arrived a little earlier. And you know, like anything, any sort of new piece of kit that you get, it's kind of, well, you get it out of the box, you try to get it started and use it as quickly as possible so you can see what it's like. Now, I had a loan of a GoPro5, which I found to be super rugged, you know, did exactly what I wanted it to do, no problem at all. And you know, I've seen all the videos. I've been looking around to see if I could get one cheap, secondhand or something like that, and I found one or two that were cheap. But then when you look at the fine print, it said for parts only, so they were obviously broken. I went looking at alternatives. Now, I had bought a cheapy alternative a long time ago, like so many people probably did. Before I really knew anything about them, and it turned out to be, you know, pretty poor, to say the least. And I sort of put it to one side. And after that, you know, I'd seen plenty of YouTube videos about people talking about, you know, GoPro knockoffs and, you know, other types of action cameras that were cheap, and, you know, they were all absolute rubbish. And then I was going through Amazon again, looking to see if I could find one, and I came across one that actually on the specs it said it had a Sony sensor, and it gave the number of the sensor, and I did a bit of research on it, and okay, it was an old sensor, but it was a half decent sensor. It was, you know, there was nothing really wrong with it. And I read the specs on it, and it said it did 4K 30 frames per second, it did 2.7 at 60, you know, it had one or two other functions, slow-mo, blah blah blah, all that sort of usual stuff. And I was taking it all with a bit of a grain of salt, and I said to myself, well, look, what's the harm? I had a small bit of cash that I could spend on it. I think it was 150 euros or something like that. And I said, well, you know, worst case scenario, I can send it back to Amazon if it turns out to be absolutely utter rubbish, or at least I can try to send it back to them. So I ordered it, and it arrived, and I opened it up, and I was really surprised by this little camera. It's called the 4K YI 4K, or okay, YI 4K, okay. Anyway, this little camera, you know, when you pick it up, it feels nice. You know, it feels well finished. There's nothing, you know, it doesn't strike you as being, you know, absolute cheap piece of kit. It feels solid in your hand. It has a little bit of weight to it. And I thought, well, you know, when I saw it, I thought, well, it looks half decent. And then I switched it on, and well, here's where things start to get interesting. When you turn it on and you try the interface that comes with it, it's actually, the interface is absolutely terrific, brilliant, really clear, easy to navigate. The touchscreen works really well. You know, everything about it works really well from that point of view. So, you know, I was surprised. You know, you touch it, you do anything with it, it responds really quickly. It does, you know, it does exactly what you want it to do. And I found like the GoPro interface was a little bit fiddly, and, you know, it took a bit of poking around to get things set up. And whereas with this, it was really easy to set up. Now, look. First thing I'll say is that if your main thing about what you use that you do in terms of filming is about action and about being out there and, you know, doing crazy stuff, and you want the best action camera out there, I really think you can't, you know, you can't but buy GoPro, because it is just so rugged, and it, you know, from that point of view, and it's such a out of the box type camera that you can just go off and do stuff with. You know, those features where you can just press and shoot, you don't have to start it up or anything. You know, from that point of view, really, you know, I'd say, you know, you're better off probably waiting and saving your money and buying the GoPro. But if you're like me, and you know, you want a camera like this in your kit, but you know, it's not something you're going to be using all the time. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be supplementing what you're doing, or you might want to do some, as I want at the present, want to do a certain amount of underwater work. And then when I finish doing that underwater work, I'm going to be using my drone, I'm going to be using my DJI Pocket, I'm going to be doing other stuff, and I won't necessarily be using an action camera. So yeah, when, you know, if that's your thing, well, you know, then I seriously suggest that you would look at this camera, because I'm absolutely blown away by the quality of the camera, what it gives you. Now, it has image stabilization. Again, you know, this is the older version of the Y4K. There's a new Y4K Plus, but then it's a lot more expensive. And I would be thinking, well, maybe I'd go for the DJI action camera. You know, it's around the same price, and you know, I might be tempted to go stick with DJI stuff since I have the Pocket and I have the drone. So, you know, it might make sense to stay with the same stable as to go for that. But yeah, but this is the older one that's been out, you know, since 2016, and it still shoots super film, and it still does what it's supposed to do. The GoPro stabilization is maybe, you know, marginally better. I'll be showing you some comparison video, which you'll be able to see. I'll call it up and you can have a look at it there. Now, you can see that, you know, the GoPro stabilization is a little bit better, but the image quality and the quickness to change between, like, I have these both on auto, so yeah, I mean, I know if you're going to be going out in the field, you won't necessarily be using auto, but out of the box, using auto, set up at 2.7 on both cameras, at 60 frames per second as a comparison, image stabilization on both of them, and you can see for yourself, you know, one's 150, one's, you know, 300 plus or whatever it is, or 250 euro, but it's a lot more expensive depending on where you're buying it, even the GoPro5 or one of the new GoPros. And this, you know, it holds its own. It does exactly what you want it to do. I mean, you can find fault with the color, or you can find fault with this, that, and the other little things, but they're all tweakable in post. All the things that you can do are tweakable in post. I just thought I would bring that to your attention, so you know that if you were thinking of buying, if you know, maybe you're a drone owner like myself and you'd like to get something that a second camera that you might want to keep in your bag, and you didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, you know, I don't see how you couldn't be interested in this, especially when you see the results. So that's it. I'd like to take this chance to thank, you know, my followers. I don't know how people find you really on YouTube. I'm not really, you know, up to speed on how all that works and how you get people. I don't know whether you know, you guys can help me in terms of maybe recommend my little channel to a few of your friends and that, and maybe get me a few more followers. I really just want to get my stuff out and let people to seeing it, and I like the idea of some sort of a community and being able to talk to people about what you're doing and getting a little bit of feedback. You know, that's, to me, makes the whole experience even more pleasurable. I mean, I'm going to make the videos anyway, whether I've got, you know, 10 followers or, you know, 10,000 followers. I'm still going to be making the videos because I enjoy it so much, and I want to learn new stuff. Oh, by the way, my hat recovered from being absolutely drowned the last time, and is, you know, back in action, as the fella said. So that's it. I'm going to do a underwater test. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, so I'll do an underwater test so we, you know, have a comparison. I did notice in dark areas that there was you know, you know, that there was, you know, some grain in both the 5 and the 4K here on my hand. There was some graininess in you know, in really low light conditions, but it was sort of low conditions that you wouldn't film it anyway, so you'd expect there's going to be grain there. But I'll be interested to see, you know, in comparison to the underwater footage I got with the GoPro, which was superb, you know, how it stacks up against that, and I'll do that as maybe sometime next week, and I'll do a short video about that. So listen, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a like. If you know anyone else who might be interested in the sort of stuff I'm doing, please let them know about my channel. And look after yourselves. Stay safe. Stay happy.